TV channel 1303, and they are streamed simultaneously on the Town of Bucksport's YouTube channel. We have a lot of new faces here tonight. We've set a record for the lowest average age at a council meeting, certainly in 2020. I do want to provide a couple housekeeping items for you if this is your first council meeting. First, this would be a great time to make sure your cell phone's on silent right now. Second, if you are going to speak this evening, please come up to the podium, state your name and address. Third, we have microphones all over the room for the folks at home. If you speak, they'll hear it. If you whisper, they'll probably hear it. So just a word of advice. We have called the meeting to order. Roll call. Jacob.
Councillor Eastman.
Here.
Councillor Tarian.
Here.
Councillor Hare.
Here.
Councillor Rabs.
Here.
Councillor Bishop.
Here.
Councillor Rankin.
Here.
What about me?
Mayor Bissonnette.
I am here. Thank
Sorry.
you.
I'm out of practice.
I know, that's okay. And plus you're used to doing it from over
That's
there
right.
back in the day.
That's right.
Yep. Let's see, first item, the next item on the agenda, is presentations and town council recognitions. And before we meet some interesting faces, the first is a presentation of appreciation to Councillor Bishop. For those of you who are new here this evening, Councillor Bishop, this is his last meeting on the Bucksport Town Council. He just fulfilled his term. You may be aware that he is also our state representative to Augusta, so for the past year, he has been serving a dual role and he has been incredibly busy. I will certainly give any councilors who would like to say anything to Steve the opportunity to, but I don't want to put anybody on the spot, so I'll kick it off. Steve has been... I'm a big fan of anybody that does this. I'm a big fan of anybody that puts themselves out on the line to do this. And Steve, before being on the council, if you don't know, has served on the fire department and many, many years on the police department, and got done that and ran for the council 3 years ago. He's been an invaluable voice on the council, very intelligent, very committed, very involved. Hard to outwork Steve, without question, especially this past year. You would think that serving two roles, especially last spring when, you know, the state budget and all that stuff is going on, that you may have, did he miss a couple meetings? He sure did, but there were also a couple meetings he pulled in at 6:55, and the meetings he missed weren't his fault. He just has worked really, really hard. He was the second deputy mayor in Bucksport's history, and we've had two. He was the first good one, and we were on a good stretch with deputy mayors right now. And I just really appreciate Steve's commitment to the town of Bucksport and to this council. I would like to say that I'm going to miss him, and I want you to let me finish that sentence. I am going to miss him sitting right there. I can assure you that in his other role, he will be at these meetings very, very regularly, keeping us appraised on things in Augusta. And I'm confident I will hear from Steve at least once a week, making sure that I know anything that I need to know. So I'll reserve saying that I'm going to miss Councillor Bishop because I'm sure I won't have the opportunity to do so. So again, thank you, Steve. Anyone else before we?
Just that in addition to being a state rep and having been here on council, he also owns his own business. So as any of you that are out there with your own business, you all know, there's no such thing as a day off when you have your own business. So he's really been doing three things all along, and now that he's moving, doing a lot more in Augusta, I think he's young, he has fresh ideas, and he's going to do a lot for the town of Bucksport, for us down in Augusta. But we've had to kick each other here under the table every now and then that nobody knew what was going on, and I'm going to miss the kick. But it's been great to have him as a counselor, so thank you.
I appreciate working with you, Steve. We've had a lot of conversations where opinions on different issues have gone back and forth, but it's been good. But I appreciate the work you do in Augusta, and that's, as far as I'm concerned, you're a major asset to us with you being in Augusta, so I appreciate that.
Would you like to say anything, Councillor Bishop?
Well, being on this council has been one of the most favorite things I've ever done.
like Ed said, there's been a lot of times where we have disagreed on a lot of major things, but we've put the work into it, and that's probably what I've enjoyed the most about this council is that when we disagree, it just this group is committed to the town so much that it just causes us to dig in harder and find an answer, and that is something that I have really appreciated about this group that I don't experience as much in Augusta as as I have here but moving forward, I just wish there was more time in a day. I really do, but there isn't. And some of the things that we're up against right now with Rich, we're really lucky to have Rich Rotella working with some of the economic development stuff that we're working on right now. He and I have been working on some things, really trying to turn things around in the next year for us, and I'm very humbled by what you folks have said, but I'm also not going anywhere. Like Mayor Bissonnette said, I will hopefully cut my phone calls down to him to 1 per week now, and hopefully we'll still be very, very active with a lot of the things that this council does, and I'm still right here if any of you need me. So thank you for everything.
Awesome. Before I ask for a round of applause for Councilor Bishop, I don't think you'll mind me saying this. He called me earlier in the year, and this was not a decision that he came to lightly, and we talked it over a couple of times, and he finally did come to the decision that he made to focus on the work in Augusta. And at the end of one of those conversations, he said to me, "Now listen, I don't want a clock." And I said, "Okay." He said, "That a clock is what you give to somebody when they retire, and I'm not retiring from anything. I'm not done working. And you never know, I may be back on the council someday." I said, "Okay." So we aren't gonna give Councilor Bishop a clock this evening. We are gonna give him a picture of what, at least for tonight, he can say is his favorite town. Signed by all of us on the council, and a number of people who work for the town of Bucksport, which I think is more in line with what he was hoping he might receive. So anyway. Thank you again.
Yes.
All right.
Now take care of the kids.
All right, got it. So we have a room full tonight. I can't wait to move to the next item on the agenda, which is recognition of Miles Lane School Student Council election winners, and Councilor Tarian is going to introduce you, I believe.
Yes, I am. Yes, thank you all for coming. So the Miles Lane School, which is 1st through 4th grade, does an election every year for 4th graders, and this is their advisor, Ms. Lyons. And they do have to, as I understand, have to write a speech, give the speech to the whole 4th grade, right? And then voting takes place, right? So there were 8 winners for the student council seats. It looks like maybe all of you are here. A lot of you are here. So I'm going to call you each up individually. I have a certificate for you that says, on behalf of the Bucksport Town Council, this recognition is presented to you in acknowledgement for your election to the Miles Lane Student Council. So we all did a similar thing to what you did when we ran for our seats to help make decisions for the town, just like you'll be doing this year for your schools. So we appreciate the effort that you're doing to help make Miles Lane School a great place to be. And I'll call you up, and if you can all stand in the front, we'll get a group photo, okay? First we have Caleb Curran. Caleb, if you can stay right up there. Kaylee Perry. Coraline. Ava DeWitt. Eric Erickson. Cohen Peters. Asher Mortensen. And Winter Hutchinson. If we could scoot down a little, maybe we can have, I don't know, can we see the counselors in the background? You can
stand up.
We can stand up.
Just scoot right over this way. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go get my seat. I wanna be in the back. Scoots.
So our work here is done. You guys are taking over now.
I think Rich is taking it.
Yeah, I'm like, where did Rich go?
Kids, I'm a bad penny. I'm gonna be at everything. You'll know who I am.
Are you taking a video? This is hands down the most fun council meeting we've had so
I'll let, yeah. So, the rest of the agenda after what we just did goes like this, and then you turn it and it goes like this. And I know it's a school night, so what we're gonna do, we're gonna take a couple minutes and we'll let everybody that would like to leave, because they've gotten their certificates and all, and mom's gotten a picture. Yep. We'll let you leave. Have a good night, everyone.
I'm all done anyway.
Everyone, if you have not seen Paul Bissonnette's daughter
Oh, no.
singing at the concert last night, you have to see it because that was absolutely
The rock
amazing.
star, that one. Yeah.
Holy moly.
I thought it was awesome
Oh,
too.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mary. Bye-bye. Absolutely, thank you.
Do you know child know you?
No.
precious.
I don't know. Oh, by the way, there's nothing wrong with being retired. I look forward to Mondays all the time.
Absolutely, you're very welcome. Thank you. Good luck. Have a good night.
You're gonna nifty.
Take care.
It's for the babies. Even Officer Harlan's leaving? Like, what did we do?
David was just hollering at me too, I probably should stay. The boss is yelling at me.
You could have snuck out.
It's too long for you.
You could have snuck out. No one would have noticed.
He saw that agenda and he,
Sergeant Harlan.
See ya.
I'll catch up with you later.
All right. Take care, everybody.
give that a minute. And then we'll-
Now does everyone in the back row have to move to the front row?
Now we know where the bad kids have been.
Yeah. Does everyone know my sister-in-law, Erin?
Well, Aaron,
Yeah. I know you love that type of attention, so.
we all could just turn around and be looking right at the door when Ed comes back. We all, yeah,
With our hands on our
yeah.
If I may, the last year's fourth grade student council had the input on the Eden's playground.
Yes.
Excellent. You're legendary.
You have to be 18 to run for council.
Just
You have to be 18.
There we go.
All right, next item, we have the consideration of some minutes from previous meetings. The first is the meeting, the minutes from the meeting on November the 13th, our regular council meeting. I'll assume everyone's had a chance to review those. Questions? How the council like to proceed?
Motion to approve. Second.
Thank you. We also have the minutes from our November 13th Finance and Investments Committee meeting. Council like to proceed?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Any questions? All those in favor? And lastly, same date, November 13th, the minutes from our Regulatory Review Committee. Motion approved. Any questions? All those in favor? Thank you. Next, under reports, documents, and correspondence, we have the department head reports. I will assume everyone's had a chance to read those. Thank you all. Any questions for any of the department heads? Hearing none. We also have the Down East Transportation Ridership Report for November. Questions there?
I actually did have a question about that.
Absolutely.
So, is it that, do we think that people, is there any more way to build awareness of the availability for some of those spots? Because it surprises me that there aren't people going to some of them. You would think there would be. I just was curious if, how people know about the stops and the schedule.
Well, I mean, we have it posted certainly in the town office. I believe it's on the town website, and it's, been, not sure how long we've had this service, but it's been.
Wednesdays, it's been well over 10 years, and then Mondays, that's the additional day. That's been a couple years now. Yep.
At least a couple of years.
Yeah.
I think it's more like the locations that people go to, that I wonder if people, I don't know, just the zeros that are on there are very, very, very low numbers. Surprising.
Yeah, I think it certainly sometimes also depends on the month as far as how busy they are in the time of year, but yeah.
I'm not suggesting that it's not worth it. I'm just hoping that that the awareness is out there, or if more people could help spread that awareness.
Well, a couple things have changed too. I mean, we've had this taxi arrangement too, in addition to the bus that goes around 2 days a week. But now the ride guy has come into play. See him at Hannaford's quite regularly. Someone will just call, bump, and they're over there. And then finally, there's another avenue for people that need a ride to go pick up a prescription or get to a doctor's appointment. An older person living in either Verona, Orland, or Bucksport, and that's through the Bucksport Bay Healthy Community Coalition. You can place a phone call to them, and they can help get something set up to take care of that. So.
And I also suspect we may see some different numbers now that Down East Community Partners is no longer offering transportation. I think some of that need may look different for us. It'll be interesting to see. I'm not sure, but they're merging, and most of their programs are going to be able to sustain, except the transportation is not in right now. So it'll be interesting to see if that ticks up any of the need or numbers.
Any other questions? Thank you, Councilor. Thank you. In your packets, there also was the details from Orland police calls on both November the 18th and December the 4th. Any questions there? Hearing none. We have a report from the Finance and Investments Committee, and that is Councilor Hare.
Great, yes. So the Finance and Investments Committee met this evening at 6 p.m. We voted to table the solar on Earth discussion. The person presenting that information didn't show up today, so we tabled that. And Councilor Bishop asked for more discussion with the town manager to discern those elements. We had a resolve that we voted to move to council, which is the schedule of fees to update the ambulance billing rates to get Bucksport to a more common, more typical ambulance rate. as well as we voted to move to council and award financing for the Jacob Buck Pond culvert work that was done. And this was based on a referendum that citizens had. So it's just been moved to council, so we'll see that on a future agenda.
Yes, actually, we have a
Tonight,
couple of those are
that'll
tonight.
be on,
Yep.
so we'll see the tonight's agenda.
Yep.
And do you want me to keep going with
You absolutely, why don't you do regulatory review and then we'll,
infrastructure, actually? So, Infrastructure and Properties Committee met also at 6:45. There was just one item on the agenda, and that was to grant an easement to Larry Wall. The committee also moved that to council tonight. And that was it.
thank you. And, Mayor Eastman.
Yes, we, regulatory review met earlier and had a discussion around emergency medical billing and collection. It was originally laid out as an ordinance, but it's gonna come back as a policy in a future meeting, around billing and collection steps.
Any questions there? I know we were all here, but just making sure. All right. Under discussion items, one item, the Bucksport Bay Festival.
Yes, there is a letter in your packet from Economic Development Director Rotella, and I can kind of start, and Rich, feel free to hop in at any point. But the town took over the Bay Festival 3 years ago. We've run it for the past 3 years, and that has consisted of staff, primarily staff upstairs, but a few of our staff spouses, and as well as some community members that have met primarily on Fridays when the office is closed to organize the Bay Festival. And without bragging, I think that staff have done a very good job at bringing it back. And over the past 3 years, it's grown every year, and they've really done an exceptional job in that sense. But one of the challenges that we've faced with now is that 3 years ago, the makeup and the structure of our office looked very different. I was in a different role. Our finance director was in a different role. We had a full-time tax assessor who helped with it, which we no longer have. We had one extra staff person in the front office upstairs. So one of our staff members who did the vendor side of it had some more time because there was an additional staff person up there. So things look a lot different now than they did 3 years ago, and it has really grown to the point where it's no longer viable for staff to have the capacity in order to try and do this. And so I believe that Rich has met with a number of community members who are interested in taking over the Bay Festival. The town will still certainly act as a resource as far as, brochures and our vendor list and some of the procedures that we have followed and what's worked well for us. And Rich will still be a resource to help whomever takes this over, but really and it's not really a request, but where we're at is, again, we don't really have the capacity to do it anymore, and are just looking to pass it off to the next people to do it. Anything to add?
We did have this at the Community and Economic Development Committee, and they forwarded this recommendation to the council. And I'll echo what Jacob said. The staff here, public safety, public works, it's a lot on a lot of people. We do come in on Fridays. I mean, you can get a lot of work done on Fridays when the doors are closed, right? So there's a lot that goes into it, and I am very proud of the work that everyone has done. People, they avoid their vacation to make sure that this happens for the community, and it was important that when we brought it back, that it was a community celebration. So the thought behind it is to get the community groups to rally together and have them do it, because the hardest part of this is that our country's 250th birthday is in 2026, but we don't have the capacity here to do it. The Parade of Lights is different. This really takes every last one of us, and no one's complained. about it. It's just the makeup and the structure now is very difficult. There are certain tasks that are there that some of us, because of our positions, cannot do, and it's vital for sustaining the Bay Festival. And the biggest part of that is sponsorships. The town was gracious enough to start the first year with $28,000. And each year we've asked the town for less because we've managed it responsibly. And the greatest part of it is that when families attended, the only items they needed to purchase if they wanted to was food and trinkets. The kids zone was free, the entertainment was free, the car show was free, the fireworks, the quilt show. Everything was kept to a point where anyone in this community could go and not worry about having to pay for a kids zone or eating at the event, right? So that was really important to us, and having the nonprofits participate. The very first year, nonprofits had free vendor space as well, and that's the biggest part of my job, besides the economic development, is that community piece of it and the outreach. So it's important to me that the Bay Festival continues in some form or another, and just look for your support in allowing us to maybe have the Economic Development Committee listen to some proposals and make sure that we do what's best for the community.
Not asking for names, approximately how many people have approached you, or maybe it's groups, I don't even need to know that, I'm just curious. What's been the interest in groups or people that are interested in perhaps taking it over, at least exploring it?
I reached out to them, and there's at least 3. One is more solo, and 2 would combine efforts together. So it would really be 2 separate groups, though my goal was to get everyone to do it together. This is a community event. And I'll try again. And if not, then we'll have the 2 different proposals that the committee can look at. So again, it's tough for me because I believe in tradition and the country's 250th birthday. I mean, but we're at the point where capacity dictates right now, and we don't have the capacity any longer to do what's right. We were challenged 3 years ago, right, to make sure that we could do it, and we knocked it out of the park, and we've knocked it out of the park each and every year. We've added a little bit more each and every year, and everyone's time, effort, and dedication. Like I said, there are certain departments that aren't even allowed to take vacation, and I thank all of them from the bottom of my heart, because without them, we don't have this done.
Sure.
So.
Yep, and this was never supposed to be in perpetuity. This was supposed to be, if I remember the initial discussion, it was, a year, certainly the year that we kicked it off, and maybe the following year, depending on how the first year went, but it was never supposed to be something that the town took over forever and ever, so. And it is, I'll say the part that probably you don't want to say, that when work is happening, I'm not a big fan of the phrase work off the side of one's desk, because the work gets pulled onto the desk, and so it comes at the expense of, there's no way for it not to come at the expense of the work that's actually in the job description sometimes, and so we're just not at a place where that can continue. So I appreciate that, at least I do, I appreciate, I'm sure this was a hard conclusion to come to, but doing it and timing it, that we're not having this conversation in May is a good thing, Rich, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
It is, because conversations would start in January to book the bands. They've been calling me since November, and I said, we need to wait. We need to reevaluate, and it can't be rushed. The worst thing that could happen is this is just thrown together, and I didn't want to wait until March or April, because it's not going to happen right. So
what is the deadline you're proposing for anybody that wants to take it over? What is going to be the town's threshold for contribution to this?
Well, I made it known at the last meeting, because of the amount of, we've seen the amount of the town's investment start here and come down here, and we saw the amount of sponsorships start here and come here. Realistically, it doesn't have to be run identical to what we've done. Sponsorships could cover. So I've made it known that I didn't put money in my budget for 2026 for Bay Festival, because we managed it so efficiently, but like I said, other things have changed that by capacity. The other things is capacity. Capacity has changed that to be able to get those out there.
So is there a timeline deadline?
Oh, I'm sorry to answer that. Yeah, I'd like to have back by mid-January. You folks will decide who's going to be on the committees at your last meeting on January 22nd. We'll have a Community and Economic Development Committee meeting on the second Monday in February, which, if my calendar in my head is right, should be February 8th. And like to do that recommendation that night, so that way there's at least 5 months if they want to do it in July. Because other things that have happened is I got notice a year in advance that fireworks, because of the country's 250th birthday, are going to be very tough to come by. Also, the cost is going up to $7,500. If you saw the display that was sponsored by Friends of Fort Knox at the Holiday Lights Parade, that was $5,000. $5,000 used to get you roughly 20 minutes of 3-inch shells, which was higher and wider, and this Holiday Lights Parade was roughly 11 minutes, which was roughly the same amount of time as Bay Festival as well. So $5,000 doesn't get you as much as it once did, but the display is beautiful. You cannot beat the backdrop. There's nowhere else in the state where you can beat the backdrop with the fireworks display that we put on. But that's going to be an added cost if fireworks are still going to happen. The further away from July 4th you get, the better.
I think that's where I was gonna head, Mr. Mayor, was the Economic Development Committee discussed this at length, and I think part of the Economic Development Committee's discernment will be, do these nonprofits have the capacity to front load some of these things? Because you have to, for example, if they were gonna do fireworks, that check would have to be written quite a bit ahead of time. So I think if the Economic Development Committee is charged with discerning some of that capacity, and Rich had already sort of, and if that's changed, let me know, but had sort of suggested that he would provide technical support to the nonprofits so they have enough information to make the decisions. If they can pull an abbreviated version off or something.
Yeah, because it's a 50% deposit for fireworks, typically payable in February. And then the other 50 is due the day of.
The other thing, I think, the Historical Society has some event planning for the 250, so, you know, if we could get a nonprofit or cohort of organizations to do something, I think it would be.
I agree with that sentiment. I think if organizations like the Historical Society did their tea that day, if potential, the library could do something. Wednesdays on Main is an organization that I have approached, and the Village is another organization I approached that would partner, and Bucksport Bay Business Coalition is the other committee. If they could all pull resources together, they all have different skill sets that attract many people to many events in this town that the town doesn't put on, but that we help in the background. It could be just as great, and without the taxing ability of the town employees, which I can't stress enough. Every last person who volunteered here is more than 1 hour. It's a lot of time. And even the council, and thank you guys for sitting at the information booth. Sorry I didn't recognize that earlier, but you guys even volunteer as well. So it's a lot on a lot of people.
As far as the community groups, the VFW also had mentioned that they intend to be doing something as well, so they should be looped in.
This would be looped in.
Any opposition to what we've heard this evening around any of this?
No.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep, absolutely. Thanks, Rich. I guess I will ask, any questions or comments from the public on that? All right, just wanted to make sure. All right. Let's see, we do have a public hearing this evening. And actually, if there's no opposition, we can do the public hearing right prior to agenda item A. Does that work for everybody? Okay, all Right, so we will do the first reading of the Town of Bucksport Emergency Medical Services Billing and Collections Ordinance.
Again, the only thing I would add is that this will end up not being an ordinance, but a
Oh,
policy. Again, as we talked about in committee, that this was a item that's been identified by the town's auditor as something that the town should have. And so that's what this is for, but again, I'll bring this back to your next meeting on a resolve to adopt the policy instead of the ordinance.
Good. Questions? All right. Now we'll go backwards. We'll have the public hearing on the proposed amendments to Town Code 107-2, municipal license standards. I'll open the public hearing. Any comments, questions from the public? From the council? I will close the public hearing. On the agenda, 9A, approving amendments to Town Code 107-2 municipal license standards. What is the pleasure of the council?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All in favor? Opposed? Resolve 2026-74, amending the Town of Bucksport schedule of fees to update ambulance billing rates. This was discussed earlier this evening in committee. Any questions? It's the pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions from the public on that? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Resolve 2026-75, approving quitclaim deed for map 003, lot 003. How would the council like to proceed?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second.
I would just add that this is an account that the real estate account was in foreclosure status, and the individual paid off the amount that was in foreclosure status, so this is just the town deeding that back to them.
Wonderful.
And as is the same with the next one on your agenda.
Perfect. Anything else? All those in favor? Opposed? And as the town manager just mentioned, resolve 2026-76, approving quitclaim deed for map 015, lot 063. Council like to proceed.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion is second. Any questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Resolve 2026-78, awarding financing for Jacob Buck Pond Road and Bucks Mills Road. Did I skip something?
Yeah.
I absolutely did. I skipped Mr. Wall. I apologize. 2026-77, granting an easement to Lawrence R. Wall. That also was discussed earlier. How would the council like to proceed?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? You?
Abstain.
Oh, yes, abstention. Deputy Mayor Eastman. And now resolve 2026-78, awarding financing for Jacob Buck Pond Road and Bucks Mills Road culvert replacement. How would the council like to proceed?
Second.
Motion is second. Questions? Comments? Anything from the
I do
public?
have a question.
Please.
We decided on Camden interest
Yes.
rate, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Anything else? Anything from the public? All's in favor? Opposed? You? Resolve 2026-79, providing for culvert replacement.
Yeah, and this is the same thing as your previous resolve. This is just specific language required by the town attorney.
Would the council like to proceed?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All's in favor? Opposed? Resolve 2026-80, authorizing the CIP purchase of police ballistic vests.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comments? I don't know if anybody wants to add. Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Resolve 2026-81, accepting Bureau of Highway Safety grant funds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion and a second. Questions or comment? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you. Resolve 2026-82, accepting Operation Stone Garden grant funds.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Resolve 2026-83, approving an ambulance services agreement between the town of Bucksport and the town of Orland. Would the council like to proceed?
Motion to approve. Second.
Motion and a second. Questions, comments?
I would just say this is something that Finance Committee kind of worked through. That was a goal that was established by the council during your goals and objectives meeting at the beginning of the year, was looking at the agreements that we have with the towns of Orland and Verona. Public safety staff and I have met in recent months and gone over some of those agreements and looked at, you know, what our total costs were versus what the percentage of calls were that these other communities around us are part of, and so that's where the agreement before you kind of came from. What we have proposed, what we originally proposed, the council ended up advising to go with the full amount of $62 per capita for ambulance services, and then on your next resolve for Verona, it's $62 per capita for ambulance, $75 per capita for fire, which is a total of $137 per capita. I would say that the purpose for tonight is to accept the agreement, and then the communities will, you know, have the choice to decide whether they choose to accept as well. I can tell you that the town of Orland, certainly without speaking on their behalf, were less than thrilled with the amount that has been proposed, and they have advised that they intend to look at maybe some other services or the other options that they have, which certainly they have every right to do, and that was our intent, was to do this early enough in the year, get this established to allow them in order to look at their options. And so again, they have every right to do that. On the flip side, on the town of Verona Island was, from my understanding, quite pleased with the agreement, and I believe our code enforcement officer, who is over there for some of their selectmen meetings, actually asked if they could extend the agreement for a longer duration. So they're certainly quite pleased with the service that the town of Bucksport provides to them. They're, you know, very understanding of that our costs have not gone down, quite the opposite, and that these agreements have not been looked at or amended since, I believe, 2002. And so, again, this is, in my opinion, long overdue, something that I believe our public safety staff have been talking about for a number of years without speaking on their behalf. And so, yeah, happy to answer any questions.
I understand the hardship, but facing tax increases that are Bucksport, this is Bucksport first, in a way. We haven't done this in so long, and we heard loud and clear in public comment about taxes that folks wanted us to really take a look at that, and I think this is just getting us to a more fair, because we were so far behind. This isn't us trying to make a buck. We were lagging by, 2 decades of adjustment.
Yeah, and this isn't Bucksport wanting to profit off these
Right.
communities. This is what it costs to provide the service. The citizens of Bucksport can't subsidize Orland and Verona.
Yeah.
It just can't happen that way.
Well, an interesting thing is, Google the price of gasoline back in 2002 versus 2018. And you'll see it was about $1.30 to $1.60 a gallon back in that period. Look where we are today, and imagine where wages have gone and just insurances and the cost of, they're not paying for any of the capital equipment. This is just for maintenance, repairs, and operations costs.
Keeping all of that in mind, I know you've all heard me say this, but I'm gonna say this one more time. Is that we have a long-standing, solid relationship with the town of Orland and their fire department with mutual aid. And that as we go through this process, it's important that we keep that relationship intact. As putting Bucksport first does include the collaboration of our fire departments, very much so.
And I think it helps to have the support of public safety in that, because they're very intimate with those relationships, and to hear, I think I would feel differently, certainly if folks were, say, this is absolutely gonna be a relationship that's not manageable at this point. I agree with you.
Dr. Gagan or Deputy Chief Denning, do you have anything to add?
I will just add that I agree, Steve, with what you're saying, and we have to keep in mind that those are two different services. Okay, they're in one building for us. The mutual aid agreement with the fire department that we have will not go away. So the town of Orland does not have to worry about our fire department not responding to assist them with that. On the other hand, the ambulance service is a separate service that the town of Bucksport runs, and some of the comments that have been brought up here are true, that we can't sustain a bill for other places. And then look, I've been looking at this since 2019, and it's gotten to the point where I believe they were 22% oil and was of our calls. And I'm not sure that they were up to par with that at this point. So it's something that we do need to look at. But the relationship with the fire department, and they do come here probably more than we go there, that will not end. So I would not worry about that.
Thank you.
I love it when everybody else makes the points that I was gonna make if nobody made them, because I have nothing to add, so. We do have a motion and a second. Any other questions? Question from the board? All those in favor? Opposed? Thank you.
We do need to record that you had nothing to add.
I know, I know.
That's
what
a
happens. That's a Christmas miracle. Resolve 2026-84, approving a fire protection and ambulance services agreement between the town of Bucksport and the town of Verona Island, which was just discussed. Pleasure of the council.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Questions? All those in favor? Opposed? Resolve 2026-85, supporting the installation of license plate reader cameras at the state-owned traffic light.
I think we should clarify to the people at home what supporting this means.
Director Gagan will.
If I may, this is a county-wide project for which Bucksport has been chosen at our traffic light where it's a major throughway for license plate readers at that location. That would consist of 3 license plate readers. And without me going in depth, I do have Chief Kearns from Bar Harbor PD, who is a District 7 Chief's rep. He just took over for me when I gave it up a few months ago. He has traveled here to talk about that, so I could go on and on about it. But I'm gonna let him explain, and Bar Harbor's already using this, so he knows this in depth, so. And I realize there would be questions on it, so if I could, I'm gonna ask Chief Kearns to come up and explain the whole project.
I didn't know you were gonna have me explain, I was just here to answer
Yeah.
questions. I'm David Kearns, I'm the chief in Bar Harbor, so collaboratively, this is 3 years in the making, I think roughly with.
Roughly 3 years.
Yeah, with District 7 chiefs, so different District 7 chiefs represent Hancock and Washington counties. This grant money came, Andy Sankey was gonna be here tonight to just speak about kind of how that works, but Homeland Security grant money basically comes to the county level. They kind of pull law enforcement and fire as far as what we could use for resources, and this was one of those projects that we were like, we really could have some benefits for both Hancock and Washington County as far as monitoring traffic and really using it as investigative tools for criminal activity in our communities. So this is completely funded through grant funds and continued to support through additional grant funds to the county for the ongoing maintenance and upkeep of the license plate readers. So, yes, absolutely.
Who's the grant applicant, the town or the county?
It's actually the county.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was gonna ask, are there any things that are in that grant application that we would wanna talk about more? That's all.
And the grant money is already there, so it's already been allocated. This was just a hiccup when we went to install different sites around the county, that Maine DOT basically flagged and said, this is our infrastructure and they need your support in order to put something on their property, so, within the right of way. So, but if there's any other questions as far as license plate readers and how it works, by all means.
I think people would wanna know how they're used as far as like running red lights or just monitoring for people.
Sure. And so these cameras aren't like a video camera or a surveillance camera. They actually take pictures of license plates as a vehicle travels by. And then it runs ocular character recognition on the digits on the plate, which are all just public. So it identifies, there's no personal identifying information. So it truly is just the registration plate. In the back end, we run hot lists that are connected to federal databases as far as wanted persons, dangerous individuals, stolen vehicles, all of that. So reactive in that sense, where those lists would flag those plates and they would go to local jurisdictions as far as who's in closest proximity to that site. But the other side of it is that they can also use it for ongoing criminal investigations or just any criminal investigations that might. There are audit trails in the back end and safeguards against information. Like, it's just not open to any law enforcement to just go in and query the database. You need to have a case open with a audit trail there. So if you're gonna go in and start looking for whether it be a specific plate or a partial plate or a date and time range, that would all be recognized in the back end and audit trail. So if for some reason somebody was thinking that there was more information being released or used in a nefarious manner, that we have that information so we can go back and check.
Who does hold the data? Who's the facilitator of the software?
So right now, we in Bar Harbor have a site that runs and collects data in, so it's Vigilant Solutions, or Motorola is actually bottom. So we're the holder for our information at this point. So we have the infrastructure on the back end to house that. Ellsworth PD has also come on in the last year, so they also have a repository. We haven't worked out the final connections of where that data is going to be stored. So, but Bucksport Police Department would have access not only to this site, but the rest of the sites that would go into that, as well as the communities for law enforcement in Hancock County.
Question for Director Gagan, if I could ask you.
Just another point, I've learned a lot about this from Chief Kearns because they've been running it for a while. Correct me if I'm wrong, that data is only stored on that plate number, not on a person, because the only way you can get that is under a criminal investigation, and we have a trail on that. Obviously, when we run something up above, we get audited, we have to say why. I believe we only save that for 21 days and then it's cut out, so it's not there forever.
And that's by state statute.
Right, that's by state law.
About a year and a half ago, we had a hit and run accident at the intersection of Central Street and Main Street.
We did.
And the vehicle that your department was trying to investigate was never able to be pinned down or definitively narrowed down, although your department was pretty confident they did go through that intersection, correct?
Yes, that's true.
So in the event that these plate readers were to be installed, how confident are you that that information and that tool would help solve cases like that?
100%. And the reason I say that is because we had the vehicle. It was a rainy, windy night, and we do have cameras down there on the waterfront and stuff, and we had the vehicle there. The only thing we could not read was the plate. And that case is still unsolved with a Bucksport resident, elderly resident that got run over on Main Street, which I'm not pitching it, but it's the truth. We resolved that case for sure.
Thank you.
Welcome.
So it's more of an investigative tool rather than a surveillance tool.
It's really 100%.
We want to really know.
It's really 100% investigative. It's not like we're gonna sit there and look for plates. I mean, if we have a plate, we could run it to see if it's been through there within the last 21 days, then we would have the right by statute to see who it belonged to.
That would be part of an investigation.
Right,
Okay,
exactly, yeah.
Yeah, and just some other success stories, you know, hot lists that go in, mentally ill, maybe people that are, you know, Amber Alert, any of that goes into the system. And so if it goes through one of these sites, then the plate with the flag and let local law enforcement know. And we have the ability to put in hot plates as well. We had a situation, we didn't have license plate readers at the time, but we used one in Brewer with a domestic violence victim that the suspect had fled. She was worried he was coming back and it flagged it. So we were able to intercept the person before they ever got back to the island. So just those types of things that I don't think everybody truly understands. Like, it's not really a surveillance tool as much as it is a tool or a force multiplier for law enforcement. So,
It's local, it sounds like it.
yes.
So you enter a license plate number and the computer automatically scans and looks for it, correct?
You can query the site for 21 days, but it will also, at that point when you put the plate in, will continuously monitor for that plate to go through one of the sites.
So if it was in there and it goes through tomorrow, that's gonna be flagged immediately.
Yes.
That's good.
Other agencies and other counties access this, or do they have to call you and ask you to look?
They would have to go through
Right.
one of the District 7
Right.
agencies in order to do that.
Can the feds access this?
No. So it would all be through us, and we can control who we share this information with. This is a District 7 project, so right now, all of the chiefs in the district have agreed that we will share data between each other's sites. But outside of that, it would be a request from another agency into ours.
So if the feds gave you a subpoena for this, you would ignore that?
No, that's not what he said. We can't ignore a subpoena, that's two different questions.
So it could be shared with the feds?
It could be under a subpoena, because that's law, Don, I'm not gonna violate the law. The question of if they can get into that system, no, they can't get into it. They could request it, I mean, anyone could request it.
Any other questions?
I think what people have asked me, could it be used for immigration enforcement, given the climate we're in now?
Where it doesn't have personally identifying information on a plate, that's a whole like separate barrier between, so this is really monitoring vehicle traffic in. So yes, we could see through who that plate was registered to if we had an open investigation, but just by somebody driving a vehicle through wouldn't flag any type of personal identifying enforcement.
Those are the concerns that I've heard.
Sure.
Not surprisingly.
No, understand in today's national climate.
So let's state that clearly, let's make sure that, or
Yep.
probably the better way to state this, make sure I understand it. There would be no way to go into the system and plug in license plates of people unless they are part of an ongoing criminal investigation.
Correct.
Okay.
And I've had some of these same concerns within my community.
I'm sure you did.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking you, because I know where you're concerned.
Yes. So when you think about what we're sworn to do, and our authority comes from the state of Maine, is criminal investigations and criminal law. Immigration and customs, like that's a completely separate authority that we don't partake in or enforce. So, and where this system would be specifically for criminal law enforcement or law enforcement agencies within Hancock County.
Really a resource for what we just used as an example with our open Main Street investigation, that hit and run.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Sounds like.
Okay.
Appreciate you clarifying that.
Yes,
Because
of course.
obviously people had questions.
Yes, that's what I came for, so.
Any other questions?
Thank you for coming in.
Yes, of
Thank
course.
you, appreciate it.
Questions from the public?
Thank you.
I believe we do have a motion. Yes. Any other further questions? All in favor? Opposed? Thank you. The town manager's report.
Thank you. Good evening. One thing I just want to add to my report as I've kind of taken a look at this is Bucksport does not have a grant writer. Some communities do We do not. And it seems like just about every month, at least, and sometimes every meeting, we have a grant on the agenda that our staff have written. So I would just like to recognize Deputy Chief Winchester, Deputy Chief Denning, in particular, their two departments, their staff and them spend a lot of time working on grants. And so good job there to both of you, and thank you for the work that you do, and certainly that all of our staff does. But that just stuck out to me as we went through this tonight. Department heads are currently compiling their FY27 expense budgets, which are due to be submitted to me by January 31st. The council has previously discussed beginning the budget process earlier this year, so we intend to start the budget workshops in March. Proposed workshop calendar will be included on the agenda for your approval at your next meeting. Thank you to Councillor Tarian for inviting Economic Development Director Rotella and I to participate in a field trip with the 3rd and 4th grade students from Miles Lane, where students visited town facilities, Main Street businesses, and the town office as a hands-on extension of their classroom learning. So thank you for that. I know Rich and I certainly enjoyed it. Public safety staff and I have been meeting to develop an updated animal shelter contract. The current agreement is very broad, and the revised contract will be more structured with clearer expectations, roles, and responsibilities for participating municipalities. As part of this work, we will also be recommending during the upcoming budget process an increase to the per capita rate charged to other municipalities that utilize the shelter, with the goal of ensuring that the shelter operates on a break-even basis. The proposed Aroma Joe's project was approved by the planning board at their meeting Tuesday night. The vacant building currently on that property is expected to be demolished this Saturday. All that is now pending is final approval from the Maine DOT. We have resumed transporting all MSW to Innovative Resource Recovery in Hamden rather than bypassing to Juniper Ridge. The cardboard component of their recycling program is currently operational, and their full material recovery recycling system, say that 3 times fast, is expected to be fully operational by March 2026. And lastly, I will echo by saying what many of you have already said. I want to wish Councillor Bishop the very best as he concludes his final meeting on the council. Thank you for your service both on this board, on the planning board, and previously for 15 years as a town employee, both on the fire department and on the police department. We'll certainly miss working alongside you, but I know that you know how to get a hold of me and I know how to get a hold of you, so I don't think anything's gonna change there. So that is all that I have.
Questions for the town manager? Just a quick one, in terms of the recycling, when can we begin discussing reinstituting recycling at the transfer station as a part of that?
Well, the way that program works is that that's all thrown into the MSW, and then it's their system, you know, they have again, that recovery system where they shred the bags and they go through it, and that's how it works.
So once it's doing that, we'll make that public knowledge.
Correct,
But
correct.
is it safe to say right now that if I take my trash to the transfer station tomorrow and there's a bunch of cardboard in it, that's being pulled out?
That is being correct, that is correct.
Thank you. Thank you. Discussion of items not on the agenda for the council and public. Why don't we start with the public this evening? Please.
Hi.
Hello?
I am Kate Corwin. I am a resident of Bucksport in the town site. I am here on behalf of Bucksport Area Child Care Center. We have previously provided you with, we try to do quarterly. Life gets in the way. So this is an end of year report, so I do have printed handouts for all of you. Just to give you an update on what the center was up to. I am also the recently elected new chair of the board of directors. I have 2 kiddos that go to the center, so I'm also a parent member. And just wanted to give you a brief year in review for some transparency, as the town's nearly only child care facility. did anybody want the handout before?
Love one.
Yeah, okay. It is double-sided, we've got some great pictures, it's been a great year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
What did that one make it? I did double-sided. There's your second sheet. Did not realize that, I apologize.
Thank you.
And I won't go over each particular thing, but did want to give you the update in the green box first for the year in review. Specifically, we've been working toward stabilizing operations. As some of you may know, we had to discontinue our school age program for most of 2024 due to lack of staff. And that was something we worked very hard to get back on track during 2025, starting with getting a February and April break kind of day camp set up to offer at first, because we knew that it would be spots that were in good standing to the older siblings of current younger students at the daycare center. And then once we were able to get the staff in place for a full-time summer program, we launched that, and then have been able to continue an after-school program, and that continues to be the case. They are currently coming to the center, the students, but at this point we do have the staff to expand to larger number of kids, and we are working with Dr. Tripp to get an off-site location again. Hopefully back in the Miles Lane. Gets a little tricky just with licensing. They can't, two programs, so like the Y and BACCC the students could not use the same bathroom. So we just need to make sure that we're in completely different spaces so that there isn't any overlap there. But hoping to be able to split that with the Y more and give families just more options, hopefully. So in more sad news, usually Julie Sivos, our director, is here. Unfortunately, in the late spring, she announced that she was going to have to move, and she tendered her resignation, but we kept her on as it was, her departure was in flux. She had to sell her house. So it's not the easiest thing. So she has stayed on remotely since September, which has been wonderful. At the late part of the summer, we started the search for the director position. Did not have any viable candidates at that time and have recently started those up again. So hoping to have interviews in the next couple weeks and hopefully have an on-site director once again. Big shoes to fill because of everything that Julie has done, and we are forever grateful for that. But really hoping to be able to give good news and introduce the next director in the first part of the new year. Does anyone have any questions or concerns about the facility at this time?
No, but I'll give you a chance to go through the 8 bullets that are on your wish list in terms of things you might need up there.
Yeah, absolutely. A lot of these wish list items are just what you'd see on any classroom wish list. Tissues, diapers, or wipes. Everybody runs out every once in a while. I have to be reminded at least 3 times to bring diapers for my 2-year-old. They just never quite make it out the door. Napkins, cleaning supplies is always helpful, especially in these winter months when it's just every child is their own special petri dish. It's been rough. Dress up clothes for all genders and types. We've got kids that like to be superheroes. We have kids that like to pretend in lots of different things, and those items, just because they are washed so frequently, do tend to break down quicker. Old t-shirts for painting, so if you're cleaning out your closet, that's always a really great thing to have cotton t-shirts so that we can throw those over the kids as a smock. Crayons, colored pencils, markers, all things art. The kids go through them like nobody's business, especially those after-school kids. They will color an entire coloring book in 30 minutes flat. It's pretty impressive. And puzzles and games. Again, one of those things that just items deteriorate a lot faster when you have so many little hands on them. Also in the paragraph here, really looking as grocery bills continue to skyrocket for everybody, especially on the scale that we need for the center. Any fresh fruits or vegetables that you could donate to the center is always appreciated and helpful. If that's not something that you would prefer to do, if you don't want to pick that out, if you're worried about it getting used, I don't think we would ever say no to a Hannaford gift card, because that is also always really helpful. Just to give the kids a variety of fruits and veggies throughout the day. We do provide, I don't know if anybody is aware, we do provide 2 snacks for the all-day kids. And then oftentimes the school age comes in ravenous, as only they can. And so we do provide snacks to school age kids. It's less of snacks, more of a very large trough buffet of chips. I don't want to say chips, but like crackers and Cheez-Its and stuff like that. And other than that, families pack their kiddos' lunches. So we are always happy to feed those who need it. If a kiddo comes in and suddenly does not like the lunch that they requested that morning, we have things on hand for them. So yeah, food items are always appreciated as well, shelf stable or otherwise.
And when do you have certain times drop off for donations, or?
No, I mean, I would just, as a parent, I would suggest that you avoid drop off and pickup times. So anytime after 8:30 and before 5, but also absolutely come in during those times. Nobody would turn you away. I will say the door is locked after 9 a.m. every day. So after the drop off period, when it comes to then removing children, that's much more controlled. So you'd talk to a staff member there. But absolutely, and please feel free to call the center and leave a message. Also, I believe the board's contact information is on our website, so feel free to email myself or Erin as the treasurer, anybody on that list of board members. We'd be happy to coordinate a pickup drop-off. So.
Awesome. Any other questions? Kate?
Wonderful. Thank you all so much. I appreciate it.
Anyone else from the public this evening? Chief West.
I want to recognize Officer Trevor Luna. Last night, about 1800 hours, we all got a message at the police department that he had passed his certification and is officially a blue pin. So tomorrow we'll be making the trek down to his graduation. For those of us who've been through it, Dave and Steve, it's no joke. It's a long 18 weeks. And Trevor did it with 4 young kids, a new wife, sold a house, bought a house, moved. So he left Monday morning to go to the academy.
2025.
Right? He leaves to go to the academy Monday morning and comes back Friday to do a different house. So, on top of the struggles of just having to get through it, he had other obstacles and he did it. So just wanted you guys to know that.
What time is the graduation?
10 o'clock.
So it sounds like congratulations to Mrs. Luna as well.
Yeah.
For
100%. Yep, it is. A lot was put on her shoulders.
Sure.
He's very anxious to get back. The director and I went down during Chiefs Week and visited him, and he's very much looking forward to getting back and getting on patrol. So
awesome.
Just wanted to
You're
share that with
looking
you.
forward to a full roster too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Rich?
I'm gonna wear 2 hats. First, I'll wear Paula Key's hat. She has a message for the town council. She would like to express her sincerest appreciation and gratitude for your continued support of the Wednesdays on Main program. And she would like to invite you all to attend Sunday's concert at the Bucksport Performing Arts Center. Because for the first time ever for us, welcoming to Bucksport the Bagadoos Chorale. It is a highly respected 50-year-old organization. They have 2 scheduled concerts in Blue Hill on the 19th and 20th, and both of those are sold out. So we are hoping for good attendance from that population, as well as right here, Bangor, down east, downstate, and beyond. Paula would be very proud to have you in the audience for this prestigious event. The program runs about an hour and 20 minutes. There is no intermission. Students get in for free, and there is a $10 suggested donation at the door. Doors open at 3 p.m. From myself, I'd like to thank you all for your support in being judges of the 10th Annual Parade of Lights and Fireworks. If you don't know, one of the first jobs I was tasked when I started here 10 years ago by then Mayor Keene was to put on a parade of lights. I tried to find any organization to help me, but when you try to do a plan in 2 weeks, the answer is typically no, which benefit for us was it was fantastic. The original route, if you remember, started at the former mill parking lot and ended right here at Main Street. We did not miss a beat. COVID didn't slow us down. That year we made it stationary. Each and every year something new has been added, not at the expense of the town. This year the Frogtown Mountain Puppeteers put on a version of the Grinch. And I will tell you, I went down at about 3:40 just to see, how many people are there. And there were kids crying because it was already sold out at 3:30. The show started at 4 o'clock and it was mobbed. The Bucksport Bible Church gave out free hot dogs and hamburgers. The Dairy Port, that was new this year. The Dairy Port, as always, did the free hot cocoa and gingerbread people. And again, for all the staff that was able to help out, public safety, our facilities director, the folks here at the town office, the event went off without a hitch. It was the largest pre-registered event that we've had. Friends of Fort Knox, yet again, with the fireworks for the town. So again, I'm very grateful that one of the first events I was involved with my employment with the town is still going on. So I know there are Facebook rumors that the town is not doing it, but for an event that doesn't cost the town any money, it's kind of hard to say no, and it's a cheery time of the year. And I'd also like to share with you, Hans Critchell's created a book regarding the playground and the timeline and a little bit of the history. He's got some great photos of Chad White, the one-man construction crew who built the entire playground by himself. He's got some photos of the town crew who spread out all of the engineered wood fiber, which does make this an ADA compliant facility, one of the only ones in the region. Bangor beat us to the step, but we weren't too far behind. So if you haven't had a chance to check out the playground in the spring, I highly recommend that you do, because it was fantastic. It looks great. It's still in great shape. So thank you all for all of your support.
Excellent, thank you.
Questions, comments for Rich? Just real quickly on that, because I love to point out when Facebook has something wrong, because it often does. I don't think there's any chance that the Parade of Lights is going anywhere. I heard multiple counselors, and I think I feel the same way, state, I think this is my favorite event of the year. And so it just seems like the weather seems to cooperate. I know it's cold, but, and I know we had a number of judges this year, and I think we'll also agree that, it's really hard to pick the three top, floats. That's not just me saying that to make people who didn't win feel good. That's, we were really impressed with some of the floats that came through. It was really hard to.
Quality of
Yeah.
our Bucksport floats. It's
Yep.
like a Macy's Day Parade
Yep.
sometimes. It's really awesome.
The work that it took to lay the foundation to make some of them happen, we had live horses in the parade this year.
I forgot about that. We did, yeah.
Yep.
They
So,
didn't win though.
yeah, it's one of our some of our favorite events. So I would like to see that continue for sure. Anything else?
Also, we missed to shout out to Great Pond Mountain and the S'mores Bar.
Oh, yes.
Which is like always a hit.
Yep. Correct.
So, Town Manager Grand mentioned the field trip this week, but I need to thank both him and Rich for their time. It was about 90 minutes, but 87 kids and 5 adults all got to learn a bit about how the town runs, and we had a mock council meeting in here, and they went around on the bus to see the town facilities and walked with Rich in the very cold wind on Monday. But I've had great feedback, and it was just, I really appreciate, we couldn't have done it without the two of you, so I really appreciate it.
Anyone else on the council?
Got a couple things.
Please
if
do.
we're into that. Earlier in the night, we were reviewing documents about the municipal license standards. And recently, again, in social media, that I don't respond to, but I read and see what people are talking about. And in addition to that, I've had a couple of phone calls from people down the road from me. And it has to do with the folks that are going around soliciting for solar panels and so forth. And people are just saying, hey, I closed the door, I don't want to hear it, that type of thing. So back to this business about licensing standards. I think a few years ago, I was chatting with some of the public safety folks too, that I believe some folks came into town, they wanted to move encyclopedias, and at the time they came to the town clerk and may have registered themselves, and then that was taken over to the police to do a background check on the people and the company, and everything came back okay, and then moved forward from there. They were given the okay to do it. So with this new set of what's called circumstances going on, going into next year, I think I'd like to bring up or craft some documents that could range anything from no door-to-door solicitation in the town of Bucksport whatsoever, or swing the other way and say, yes, if you want to go door-to-door solicitation, you will start here at the municipal building, fill out a document with the town clerk, let the police validate who you are, your background, get the okay, and then go forward. But I think it's time to, just based on the activity and concerns, I mean, I shouldn't be getting phone calls like this, but there are concerns out there all around. And it's not doing it, not only here, but in neighboring towns, to take a look at that. And so I'd like to get that on a future agenda. The other thing is, we'll be starting our new calendar year, and we'll be, Councilor Rankin will be sworn in again, and we'll have a new council member sitting here beside us and so forth. And before we know it, we'll be looking at who wants to be on what committee. And I'd like to put forward the idea of, we cannot sit on the RSU school board, but to have a person from the council go in and kind of be like a monitor of what's going on over there, just like town manager Jacob here has given us recently a financial update as to where we are, to get some information as we're going, whether it's once a month, once a quarter, every 2 months, whatever we decide, but ask someone to go over. And the reason behind that is it's more of what's happening in the RSU to get things done. I've participated in the last 2 months to find out that there should be at about 42% of budget. I attend the financial stuff in the beginning and then listen to the different projects that are going on. And right now, they'd like to be at 42% of their budget articles, and all things considered, they're running about 33.8%. So they're in pretty good shape. And they also keep track of revenues and expenses all the way down to summer lunches, and when everything, they're about $11,000 in the black. So just to be able to come in and present to the council and the townspeople that are listening as to where the RSU, because they brought up an interesting point at one of the meetings over there. They said most people think that because they went there, they know what's going on in the school. And there's been so many changes and so many state laws and federal laws, and the work that Counselor Jen here does with the Aspire program and so forth. I just think it would be something good to consider, not a formal committee, but someone who would every couple months come in. Anyway, that's my spiel for tonight, so thank you for listening.
With that information, it kinda sounds like we just nominated you.
I think it should be Jen, because she's.
I already go to the meeting,
That would
so,
be an awkward.
well,
While we're on
I
that,
can tell you what happened.
But I would welcome the opportunity to,
while we're on the topic of the school board, not necessarily related to the school board, but I would like to next year see if, do we have like an FAQ paper when somebody comes to pick up papers with nominations? Do we sort of have a one pager that says sort of a checklist of if you qualify or if you like, for example, what happened with the school board candidate? Could something like that be provided when somebody picks up their nomination papers that show the disqualifiers from council? Like you can't be a municipal employee. I know this information lives in a lot of places, but could it be like a one pager? It's just an FRQ, am I eligible to run for this seat? And sort of
Well-
just glean all that information into one
well,
document.
and to your point with soon-to-be Counselor Doughty being sworn in, she was on planning board, and reading into the code, she could not stay, she had to resign, had to give her resignation to the chairperson to accept the position, so there's other things in the background.
Yeah, and there's a
that-
lot, right? But we could glean the most common ones that we see,
I would highly recommend that, everything that's.
especially in a small town.
Well, the town as an entity has put a very large amount of effort and work into sorting through all the scenarios that have been presented from this very high-profile school board race. And that could have been, all that could have been avoided. There's a lot of wasted time there. So anything that could be done to get ahead of causing those kind of problems would be great. That's a great idea.
Simple question here, I think, I don't know that I necessarily mean this the way it's about to come out, but I'm gonna say it anyway. Some of the responsibility, I do believe, like, if you're running for an RSU seat, some of the responsibility is on the RSU as well. But at the end of the day, the responsibility is on the municipalities who are running the elections, and, so, just like this happened in Bucksport this year, it could happen, pick one, Verona Island next year, and so, I think maybe it's a good idea. I certainly think it's a good idea. I just would wanna make sure that we're covering, there are a little bit different rules for the RSU, and I would wanna make sure that the FAQ is accurate for sure.
Yeah,
But
and
totally
not to
agree on
mislead
the-
people that it's like all of the scenarios.
Yep.
Because that could also create more problems. It'd have to be thought out.
Exactly.
We can provide links to state statutes to have them
That's an
look into it and make sure that they qualify. That's fine.
Kate, did you have something else?
I did, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I don't know how many of you saw on Facebook, it is a good thing this time.
Okay.
That last weekend was the Bangor Authors Fair, that's held at the Bangor Public Library. And I'm pretty sure Andy's not watching the live stream of this, no offense, but he was, because he'd kill me
And
if he knew.
if he is watching it, would he tell you? He might if it's what you're
Yeah,
about to say.
no, I'd be
Yeah.
getting a call right now if he knew. But I went to accept an award on his behalf because Andy. It's called the Golden Typewriter Award, and it is for contributions to the Northern Maine literary community. Probably many people don't know this. We have lots of books by Maine authors on our shelves that are self-published. Almost anybody that walks into the store usually gets a yes from Andy to purchase at least a copy of their book and then have it on the shelves. Happy to point you in those directions, by the way. It's a great community and one that the Bangor Authors Fair has invited us to for the past couple of years. Part of the reason why I hope he's not watching is that because he was not able to go / refused, we are planning some kind of guerrilla event at the bookstore in January or February, which he will hate
You are
even
brave.
more.
You are
It's not my
brave.
idea, and I will
Yeah,
launch
yeah.
myself out a window.
It's your
before
story,
I
you
admit
stick
it.
to it.
So keep an ear out for that. I will let the street people know so that if you would like to attend, that you certainly can, just so that he can get a little bit of the public recognition that he deserves, because Bookstacks has been in operation since 1997, which is wild. And a clarifying, because this is public record, I'm not the new owner yet, and that's been erroneously reported lately. I am still simply the heir apparent. Long live the king. It has not changed hands yet. And I just,
You know he's gonna watch this now.
yeah,
Wait till
no,
he hears
probably
that.
not.
Yeah.
Probably not. But I haven't. A more official announcement would have been made if Andy had officially retired. And so I get nervous with the reports when it says that I'm the new owner, because I'm not qualified yet. But working on it, and hoping to report developments in that soon. But yeah, I just wanted to let the council know that Andy had been awarded this, and I'm really proud of it, just on behalf of Andy, because he has stuck it out longer than almost any Main Street business at this point. And I am happy to report it is a better Christmas season for us this year, thanks to the addition of saplings next door than it was last year. And so it's been a great kickoff and a much happier report from the retail businesses on Main Street. So
Funny how that works, isn't it?
yeah, I know.
Yeah.
So thank you all. For your
Okay,
time.
absolutely. I believe the name of the award, I believe the name of the award that Andy won is called the Golden Typewriter Award, if I'm not mistaken. Is that correct?
Yes.
So he is now the recipient of the Golden Typewriter Award as well as the Golden Shovel Award.
Yes.
I should probably clarify that, because you could take that, the Golden Shovel Award for keeping the sidewalk in front of the store clean.
that which is a retired award, but is bolted
Right.
to the wall of
Yeah,
Bookstacks.
it's right there.
And
Yep.
shall
Yep,
remain, but
that's right. Anyway, that's outstanding.
the golden shovel is not also a pencil sharpener though, and the golden typewriter is, which I think could be changed, but I think it's pretty cool.
That's outstanding. Thank you. Anyone else? All right.
Mike.
Oh, please, Mike, sorry. No worries.
We had a structure fire this past weekend, pretty serious one, and I just want to recognize our crews and our mutual aid partners. They had their hands full, first engine in. They had fire blowing out 4 corners of the building. 2 vehicles were fully involved, and 2 130-gallon propane tanks were venting with debris blowing onto the other house. It was occupied by 7 people. They all got out, and I would like to point out the smoke detectors that alerted them were from our grant, so
Oh, good.
thank goodness. So it's good to know that
Yeah.
they had working smoke detectors and grants work, so thank you.
Thank you.
While you're up here, Chief, somebody asked me the other day, and you just reminded me of it. They asked if they could come in and get another fire alarm. Are they still available?
We have none left, but have them get in touch with me and we'll take care of them.
Okay.
Yep, absolutely.
All right.
Yep, thank you.
It's nice to hear that story.
One more time, anyone else? Going once, all right. We don't have, before the next meeting, we'll elect a mayor, and then we'll talk about committee assignments, so we won't have any committee meetings prior to the next meeting. Unless there's any other meetings that aren't necessarily all council that I need to be made aware of that we need to schedule prior to the next meeting.
No, because there's no committees till.
Yeah.
No, but Mr. Mayor, if I could get it on record now, could we have a finance committee meeting for January, as part of the finance committee on January 22nd? I got today the new rates for the harbor for 2026.
Wonderful, okay. The next item on the agenda, we're moving into executive session pursuant to 1 MRS Chapter 4056A, discussion or consideration of the, I have to read this, of the employment, appointment, assignment, duties, promotion, demotion, compensation, evaluation, disciplining, resignation, or dismissal of an individual or group of public officials, appointees, or employees of the body. I do not believe we'll be taking any action coming out of that meeting. If I am correct, if I am incorrect, please let me know. So after that, we will just simply adjourn. So, I assume most folks are not gonna wait around just watch us adjourn, so for all of you, if you celebrate it, whether it's Christmas, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa,